Jim, thanks for coming on Shrimps Player. You've gone on record this week stating that last Saturday at Dover was the lowest point in your managerial career. Some statement that. It's been a challenging time recently for everyone at the club with the last few results that we've had. There's also a bit of criticism of players and management, especially this last week, and a lot of anger from fans. How's this week been for you, Jim?
Been a poor week. Well, certainly the first part of it, but you soon realise in football that you can't look back, you've got to look forward and be positive. The statements have come out with, at the time, that's how I felt. Still now, we've been beaten away at Accrington 5, Plymouth 5, getting beaten home against Fleetwood in the League 4 over the last few years. But when all the excitement FA Cup comes, I grew up with the FA Cup, remembering Everton, Liverpool at Wembley, and just always wanting to be involved in it. It's a great competition. You get thrown away from home in the first round, and you're against the team, the league below. Expectations there that on paper you should win the game, get into the half of the round 2, and that step closer to the all important round 3, and everyone dreams of Liverpool, Everton, Man United, Arsenal, Man City, whoever it is. There will be someone this year who does pull the plum tie, so to speak, and every year you go into it, you're hoping that it's going to be you. You can have that FA Cup run. To get beat, in any game's disappointing, but certainly in the FA Cup. And it's hard sometimes when you tell yourself to never be too high when you win them, which we were at the start of the year, and never be too low. You've got to keep a balance, balanced head. And but certainly Saturday on the way home, it was probably the quietest I've ever been. It was certainly the quietest the players have ever been on a coach journey. And it was the longest coach journey of this season as well, which didn't help. But I think Sunday, terrible, moped around with the family, spent a bit of time with them, but couldn't seem to shake it off. Monday we come in, we had to split the group up obviously because we've got a reserve team game coming up, and some players had played, some players hadn't, but you could sense that they were really disappointed, really down. But myself, Ken, backroom staff just got into them a little bit, and then certainly Tuesday, we got them right back at it again because we've got to be positive, we've got to move on. So yeah, very disappointed. I am sorry for the fans that travelled down. They've spent the hard-earned cash. I've said that to the lads at the end of the day. First and foremost, you've got to do it for the people who are willing to pay the money to come and watch you. Before you do for yourself, really. So yeah, it's gone. It's happened. We've dished out 1 or 2 giant killings in the past. Beating Wolves and Barnsley, whoever. Over the last few years, Blackpool in the other cup, the Capital One Cup or the Carling Cup, whatever it was. And unfortunately, we've come on the end of one where the non-league teams, took a league scalp. So it's football, it's what happens. It's disappointing. No one feels it more than me. I'll tell you that now. I know all fans of the club are angry, but they move on. They've got the job, they've got the families, other interests. This job runs my life. It is. I'm passionate about the club. I love the club. I only want what's best for the club. I want to win every game, and when I don't win, I'm a nightmare. I hate it. But I've learned now that I've soon got to get it out of my system, because there's no use dwelling on the past, and you've got to move forward. We've had a little bit of an indifferent spell leading up to the game. We've had 1 or 2 bits of injuries. Like Mark Hughes was down to play on the Wednesday and then picked up an injury. We changed it now. We trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. Off Thursday because we were travelling on the Friday. We trained on the way down on the Friday. So we had to change that round. We had 1 or 2 other little bits and pieces that had happened. The goalkeeper situation wasn't ideal. We met Big Joe Lumley on the way down at Wickham, where we trained for the first time. And without going into too much detail, there's 1 or 2 other little bits, personal things that nothing to do with football, but we're all human. We all have issues and problems away from the football club, but I'm not going to use that for as an excuse, but it certainly has an effect on preparation and things going into the game. But yeah, I think when we were winning at the start of the season, I'm getting managed a month from Big Kev's up for play, the month from the top of the table, and everyone's thinking, yeah, great, we've cracked it, we're going to get in the players, going to win the league, going to get promoted. It's all well and good getting the pats on the back and the well dones and things like that, but again, inexperienced now. I know that it's a results business, and my relationship with the football club for 13 years with the fans that I've always got on well with, you know, stands for nothing when you lose a couple. But again, it's football. You look around the country at the minute, you know, look, Liverpool, Brendan Rodgers is coming for some stick. The Tottenham manager, you know, even the Bertrand Martinez at Everton won 3 games this season so far. A few questions getting asked. You know, where Arsene Wenger's getting caned by Paul Mason over his tactics that he can't see a victory out, and to concede 3 at home when you're 3-0 up. And you look down to the Championship, Notts Forest haven't won in 10 or something like that, a team the size of Notts Forest. You know, there's stats all the time. I remember a couple of weeks ago, Shrewsbury Town hadn't scored in 8 hours away from home, you know, and what they've got at their disposal and the size of their club. So we're no different. We know we're capable of going on a run, but unfortunately the flip side, anyone's capable of going having a dip and losing, or not playing particularly well and losing a few games. Now I know within a season, and this is at any level, you have 3 or 4 games where you hold your hand up and go, for one reason or another we never got going, you know, and that for me Exeter was like that. Accrington, confidence took a little bit of a hit, little rub of the green's gone against us, a penalty I didn't think it was, you know, deflected shot that's easily going to Scott Davis, gets deflected and goes in the bottom corner. But when things are going for you or against you, that's when you find out. You know, we played Oxford here, we win 1-0, lad goes through, I thought it was a Stonewall penalty when Big Baz come out, referee played on, we win the game 1-0, come off thinking we've got a large slice of luck there. Again, not putting it all down to that, but it does play a large part. Now, ups and downs, every club has them. We're on a little bit of a down at the minute. Confidence has been it. You know, sometimes that can, you know, fans will look at that and see the, you know, don't let your head drop, that type of attitude. You know, and it's tough, it's told, because all my players care about the club. I've said that from day one. Every day they come in, they work hard, they give it their all. They give it all for each other, themselves, for the staff. And sometimes if things aren't going well, not everyone's a leader, not everyone's really strong-minded. Sometimes it can be a little bit flat, and people look upon that. You might only have to drop 1, 2, 5%, and people go, oh, he's not having a go. You know, I'll be honest, they give it me all on Saturday. 1 or 2 went up to speed for one reason or another, so whether that's had an effect on it, as I said. But again, we've had a week now to discuss things, try and iron 1 or 2 things out, and we go again. And it's a big game, a big challenge. You know, I went to Bury on Tuesday to watch them against Tranmere. It's a massive game for us, big game for them. They've been a little bit up and down of late. They got knocked for 5 at Shrewsbury the other week. They got beaten at JPT on Tuesday by Tranmere. And that's the way it is. You know, we've got to rise to the challenge, and hopefully we'll break the cycle and we'll get back to winning ways, or at least get a point that breaks that cycle, and you can move on and try and be positive and kick on from there. And that's what we're all looking to do, that's what we all want to do. You know, but football being the game it is, you know, we could easily now go 3 or 4 winning streak, or we could, you know, could get a little bit worse before it gets better, who knows. But we'll certainly give it our all. We've done our own work, we know where we can hurt Bury. We've worked on things defensively where we've got to stop 1 or 2 of their strengths, and we've worked on things where we can penetrate their lines and create chances and score goals. So that's what we'll do, and we'll pick a team that's ready to go and give the fans something back. Certainly the ones that travelled all that way and spent their hard-earned money, and, you know, get a bit of credibility back amongst the squad as well, and, you know, get that little lift that everyone needs.
So looking forward to Saturday then. I think we'll, you know, we'll put the past behind us now and move forward.
Well, that's what it is, Mark. It's the past now. You know, we've got to all move on. You know, it's horrible. It was not nice, you know, to lose. And when you're walking off a pitch, you know, I'm used to coming off the pitch and thanking the fans, win, lose or draw. But when you come in for a bit of criticism, and, you know, goes from Jimbo to Bentley, you know, when you're a naughty kid at school, you get called by your surname, and that's one thing that stuck in my mind. And I knew they weren't happy, and they've got every right. They want to see the team win. I want to see the team win. So yeah, I think what I've said to the lads now, you know, we've got 30 games to go. We've got to draw a line under it. What's gone on so far, all the good days we've had, the Newport, the Oxford, you know, the Dagenham away, you know, the victories that we've had, Fleetwood away in the JPT, whatever it is, who's done what, and start fresh and draw a line under it and go, right, put that to one side we now channel our energies into a 30-game season, and let's see how high up the table we can get. And that's what the lads have done. They pulled together. They've had a decent week in training. I thought the reserves on Wednesday winning was great. Give us a right positive upbeat. I was there. I obviously picked the team and what I wanted to play and how they went about it. And then obviously Drummies took it from there. You know, and I've been in the dugout and really enjoyed it. You know, and there was some strong performances, and it was great to see. It doesn't matter whether it's the under-9s on the Astro turf or the first team or the Resis or the ladies team. You know, we all want what's best for the badge, the club, and them winning that game has give everyone a little bit of a lift. We've had a positive day in training today, and now everyone's looking forward to getting on to the next challenge, which is Bury at home, and hopefully we can get something from it. And hopefully if we do that, people will soon start forgetting about last Saturday away at Dover, which, you know, unfortunately will be in the back of people's minds. But as I'm saying, we've all got to move on, we've all got to move forward and try and win the next game.
Well, just before we get on to Saturdays, you know, something you just triggered in me there. One person that's come in for a little bit of stick this week is Kenny McKenna, which is, you know, is probably from your point of view very unfair. Just tell us the stuff that he does for you.
He's unbelievable for me. He's like my best mate. I spend more time with Kenny than I do with my wife. You know, we're staying up tonight. You know, it never stops. As I said before, I never realised when I went into management, I think there'd become a stage where you can switch off at night, but it doesn't. It's 24 hours. You go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it. You know, it's your life, and I love it. I love football, I love the club, I want what's best for it. And I brought Kenny in to help me because he's got great experience. You know, when he's been a manager at conference level, he's been a manager for 8 years at TNS in the Welsh Premier League, obviously not the same standard as Football League, but he set teams up to go and play the likes of Liverpool, Man City in the Champions League, and been all over Europe, you know, because they go into Europe every year because they win the league the majority of the times. But yeah, very dedicated, you know, really from day one when he come in, he said, I've got a real nice feeling about the place. There's good people, good supporters, you make good friends in the area. Works just as hard as I do. We spend all the time, whether we're up and down the motorway, whether we stay over in the hotel tonight, whether we go for our meal tonight, we'll be talking about what we can do to improve the club, what we can do to win the next match, what we think about the squad and where we need to strengthen and what we need to do. You know, we all want more all the time, you know, that's life, but, you know, finances dictate that. You can't go out and sign Messi or Ronaldo or whatever it is, but we're always looking at things. You know, we went to Bury the other day, we're going to a non-league game next week. You know, we'll watch other stuff to see if we can identify any little gems coming through. Ken, as I said, works alongside me, gives it his all, knows the game inside out, very experienced, you know, quite a few different levels, passionate, has a great relationship with the backroom staff and the players, and you know, he's a winner. You know, and sometimes he might push the boundaries with trying to bend the referee or get that little extra ounce of sweat out of someone to make sure that they're giving it, you know, to push themselves beyond the limits of time, because that's the type of person he is. I've
noticed on match days that he sits away from you sometimes. He goes for a different view up high, and he's on the phone to you.
That's right. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really feel comfortable as a manager standing in the dugout area with a headpiece on, or, you know, a phone clip to the side of the dugout. You know, so yeah, we do it that way. I think at home he wants to have a bigger picture. I mean, no one really knows, because when you're down at that level in the dugout area, you know, you've got substitutes running across you, you've got linesmen in front of you, you're battling away with the fourth official to try and get a, you know, a little bit of the rub of the green with referees. You know, you've got a physio maybe telling you that someone's struggling with an injury, you might be battling with their bench over something that's been said or whatever, and there's a lot that goes on, and sometimes you've got to take yourself away from the situation to be able to see the bigger picture. And Ken does that. You know, he sits up with the chairman in the director's box, and every now and then within a half we'll discuss things briefly, you know, on the phone while I'm watching the game or trying to watch the game from pitch level. You know, that's the way we do it. A lot of managers do it, and the coach sits in the dugout, and vice versa, and some managers sit there with the coach or the assistant manager. You know, I watched QPR the other day, and Glenn Hoddle sat upstairs with a laptop looking over things. I've seen Nigel Pearson do it recently. You know, so everyone's different, but that's the way we do it at home. Obviously, away from home, you don't have that luxury of the, you know, where you can go, without getting a bit of peace and quiet. But you know, away from home, we're in it together in the dugout. But certainly at home, that's the route we go down at the moment. So you can see that bigger picture to maybe give us that little bit more that we need either at half time or to see something that will improve us, you know, in the long term or for the next fixture.
Vital role he plays here.
He plays a massive role for me. You know, it's a lonely place management when you get beat. The fans are against you, the board aren't happy because you've lost. You know, the players, if they've had a bit of a kick up the backside, and you look around and you think, well, you know, who's going to pick me up when Kenny picks me up? You know, we've got a great relationship, great working relationship with him. You know, he's passionate about the game. He come in, you never know what you're going to get, bringing someone from the outside into the place. But as soon as he walked in, he had the first meetings with the likes of Graham Hodgson, met Rod Saylor, met the ground staff, met who he'd be working with. He said that he had a real good feeling about the place. Met the chairman, said great, you know, trustworthy, honest, hard work, and wants what's right for the club. You know, he's played under many managers, coaches. He's worked for different chairmen. He's had different expectation levels. At Altrincham, when he took over, being bottom of the league, how he can survive, and being at the top of the league with CNS every week, the expectation is that you've got to win every game and win the league every year, and that's the way it is. He's had a blend of all experiences, and he certainly gives it as well. You know, and if that's not good enough, well, you know, that's the way it is. That's the way he is. He's a passionate man, and he's got a great relationship now with the club and made some good friends here, and wants what's best for the club, just like me.
Speaking of passion, there's a lot of it out there at the moment, and hopefully it'll all be channelled behind the team on Saturday. What would your message to the fans be at this moment in time?
Stick with us. It's, you know, yeah, we're going through a sticky spell, but we're not going to win every game. You know, it was made public at the start of the year that we're a little bit more on our budget this year. Maybe got an extra 2 bodies in the squad. You know, but we've been hit a little bit recently by injuries. You know, Jamie Dever's been a massive blow to us because he looked like the player that was, you know, really excelling when he was fitting well. He's back running now, so hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. Big Baz is a blow. Obviously we've got a goalkeeper situation that's raised its head that might take up some finances that we can't maybe put into something else, somewhere else where we think we need to strengthen. But as I say, I know the job, I know what goes on, I know that I'll get the pats on the back, and when you're top of the league after 4 or 5 games, everyone's great and everyone thinks, you know, we've cracked it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But you know, it's through thick and thin. It's a roller coaster ride. I know we are capable of going on unbeaten runs. We went on a 9 or 10 game unbeaten run last year, but we also, on the flip side, went a couple of games without winning. You know, we're in one of those at the minute. I don't know what the future holds. I know that we'll certainly give it our all when we go over that white line. I know we've chosen a team to try and win the game on Saturday at home to Bury. I know that we've worked out their strengths and weaknesses, where we can hurt and where we can score goals, and we've worked on that over the last couple of days, and we'll continue to do that tomorrow. And hopefully it works and we break that cycle and we get back to winning ways, and the fans, you know, get behind us because they play their part. I've said it all along. It's, you know, them singing and getting behind us is what we need. It's you know, that's it's nothing better as a player getting your name sung, and sometimes when you're having a sticky spell, that's when you know who's behind you, who's in the trenches with you, and that's what I want. You know, it's not always going to be about winning games. Sometimes you've got to take the hit, and sometimes you've got to take it on the chin that you've lost the game or you've gone a couple of games without winning, which we are at the minute. But you've got to put the gum shield back in, roll the sleeves up, and come out fighting every week, and the fans have got to do that. We're all in it together. We're all one big family. You know, I don't like all the pointing the fingers and things like that. But, you know, I can't influence everyone. But what I've said to the lads is, right, it's all lying under it. It's gone. We can't affect the past. We can only affect the future. And that's what we're going to try and do. It may, hopefully it doesn't, it might get a little bit worse before it gets better. But we'll certainly get back to winning ways. And we'll certainly have our victories this season on the road, at home, where everyone goes great and they all enjoy the weekend. But, you know, life, we'll lose a couple as well, unfortunately. But that's when you know who's with you, who's sticking together. And that's what it's called upon all the fans to do, that. Make sure that they get right behind us and enjoy the ride and be there for us when we most need them.
Well, let's hope 2:30 Saturday, we're all stood together. Cheers, Jim. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Matt.